Everyone, Dr. Poonam here. Today I will discuss the character of Gabriel Oak in Far From the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. As we know that Gabriel Oak is the hero of the novel. Oak possesses a good number of qualities which the hero of a novel should possess. Like other heroes, Oak has his final victory in love. Gabriel Oak has been introduced as a bachelor of 28 years. He has an attractive boy. He wears a low-crowned felt hat and a long coat. He is a rough diamond without polish. Oak is generous and selfless in his attitude. He is generous to Bathsheba. Gabriel Oak, like Bathsheba, changes over the course of the novel as a result of tragedy. For him, the tragedy happens rather early on when his dog runs his sheep. Oak is generous and selfless in his attitude. He is generous to Bathsheba, although Bathsheba has rejected his love. The milk of human kindness flows from his heart. Even Oakwood acknowledges his tenderness. He is very simple but frank in his dealings. He knows nothing about polished language. He is a rough diamond. Gabriel Oak does not lose his balance of mind even when his love is rejected by Bathsheba. He gives good and reasonable advice to others. He is a man of dignity and patience. Oak never resorts to mean acts. He keeps patience in his love towards Bathsheba. He is not an emotional man. He is a man of self-respect. Gabriel Oak is a man of self-respect. Once Bathsheba quarrels with him and sends him away, Oak at once leaves the place. He is, however, called back under dire necessity by Bathsheba. He is a calm and sincere lover. Oak begins to love Bathsheba at first sight. He is calm and sincere in his love with Bathsheba. He does not make a show of his love. Once he sets his heart on Bathsheba, no other girl comes to his mind. Once his love is rejected, he decides never to propose to her. He is an efficient worker. Gabriel Oak is an efficient worker. He knows his business as a farmer and a shepherd best. He cures Bathsheba's sheep. He puts out fire in the farm of Bathsheba. Not the least of his assets is his rural understanding of time and his ability to wait. Next, we can discuss his love for music and nature. He had a great love for music and nature. He looks at the stars and feels delight to see them. Now we can discuss his weaknesses. Gabriel Oak has many weaknesses in his character. He lacks the self-confidence in love. He suffers for want of grace and lustre. On account of his weaknesses, he works and suffers. And as we see that at the beginning of the book, he is more or less average person. He is no longer a young man, but not yet fully adult, and he has a generally good reputation. He can be quick to judge, as when he labels Bathsheba vain, and he can be thoughtless as when he says out loud to her that he really should marry someone wealthier than she is. But as a result of Bathsheba's refusal to marry him, as well as his misfortune, he becomes stoic, brave, and loyal. Over and over again, he proves what a decent human being he is. He puts out the fire, saves the lambs, and protects the rich, while Troy piles the other workers with brandy. Oak is, we are discussing that he is a central figure, and we can discuss his weaknesses. He has so many weaknesses in his character. He lacks the self-confidence in love. He suffers for want of grace and lustre. On account of his weaknesses, he works and suffers. He is the central figure of the novel. Oak is the most significant character in the novel. He possesses heroic simplicity and integrity. He is not a man of false show. He is simple but maintains his dignity and respect. He is the central figure in the novel. Ronald Blythe says, I quote, Hardy's picture of the classic rural time scale in which he makes the temporal time with the eternal is at its most glorious in Far From the Madding Crowd, unquote. He creates it pound and central figure of the true pastoral, that of the faithful shepherd. Gabriel Oak may rise to a farming tendency and to being the master of men, and ultimately to being the consort of the local goddess. But never for a moment can he escape his role as bellwether to the village flock. Next, we can say that he is the unconscious leader. He stands in the novel in simple but somehow overpowering moral and physical dimensions, like a shepherd in a Blake painting, glowing and archetypal. Although he is never ponderous, and Hardy even goes so far as to bring him down to Dorset earthiness by revealing the sort of limitations which would make Bathsheba justified in looking around for a better match. Gabriel stays solidly within the parish limitations. It is there that he shines. It is there that he presides over such unmatched scenes as the sheep washing, the shearing, the stackyard, and all the inescapable set pieces of farming. Toil and skill, risk and salvation, profit and loss. Now we can say that he proves what a decent human being he is. He puts out the fire and he performs many important works in this novel. He sees his love for Bathsheba as a burden he must bear, and he simultaneously tries to do all he can for her while feeling the need to rebuke her when he thinks she is not living up to his high standards. Gabriel also recognizes the carefully delineated social distinction of the Weatherbury community and knows enough not to try to claim a higher place in it than is his due, a strategy that ultimately proves successful. So Hardy allows inferior dramas to intrude upon these sacred moments, distracting courtships and feastings that are irrelevant to their higher celebrations, and then uses Gabriel Oak, his Good Shepherd, as an indicator by which we can steer our way into farming's center of gravity. The richest instance of this is chapter 22, the great barn and the sheep shearers. Thank you.